Right, hello everyone. We will be saying welcome to Hybrid Racing Formula One Sunday Night Division, round 20 of the season, Mexico in just a moment. Due to a really overrunning previous stream, I am joining this one late, so you'll be joining with me. And we should just about catch the end of qualifying, assuming they did start on time. So let me just. Right. Right. Right, so just to catch you up a little bit, we'll have a look at this a bit more detail between the sessions or during the formation lap. But remember, the title at the moment really is strongly between the two Ferrari drivers. They're the main sort of ones to look at in terms of drivers' championship. That is not constructors is different. As you see, we've caught it with 6.5 minutes to go, so that's pretty good at the moment. Pete he's just gone faster again. So he's fastest on 1:16.462 for Alfa Romeo. Hunter in P2, the first of the two Ferraris, Daguna in P3. Valungas has just nipped up into P4 ahead of Chardinho. Chip Fan P6, Chris in 7, Junkie 8, X11 in 9, Lycorius in 10, Lismore, Jim the Best, Ronaldo, Fade to Defiance and Whoopi. I thought maybe you were driving tonight, Mr. Weld, if you're out there somewhere. So, right, who have we got then? Is anybody on a lap at the moment? Let's see if we can find someone. Just have a look at Junkie down to the end of sector 1. So, yeah, definitely on a lap. Only 16 thousandths down, which is not even a blink of the eye, so nothing to worry about from there. Just carry it on. Let's see. Sector 2 probably is actually the sector where you can gain the most, so longest sector, but the most technical as well. And, yeah, just over 3.5 temps up, so definite improvement coming up from Junkie Emperor. So, what we're doing now, just going to nip onto the stream and share the link. Fortunately, I can't stay on the stream to answer any comments that come up. Junkie Emperor did improve anyway to a 17.321, put him in P6, just a hundredth of a second off of Chardinho in P5. Let's go to... Yeah, let's go. This driver up to the end of sector 1 and see if they're doing okay. No, down 4 attempts, so that's a lot for sector 1, so I assume that's probably an in-lap. Whoopee. It's invalidated out there, so... How about Chip Van? Yeah, 3 attempts up through sector 2. So I'm just doing the sharing about as I said. I need to get this done because I've got hardly any battery at all. Otherwise, I don't want my battery to run out before I can even get this done. So, go. Last one. There we go. Excellent. Right, as I say, though, guys, I can't sit on the stream and react to any comments because I simply don't have the battery to do it. But obviously, feel free to make comments and talk amongst yourselves. Chip Fan, by the way, went into P5 then. You probably saw that, you were probably watching, whereas I went. Beta Defiance is retired out. Oh, that was a bit tight. Really get a good view here of what this horrible second sector is like. It's a good improvement. It's taken inside the top 10. Keep it up. Can they gain a bit more? As well, sector 3's been pretty good as well, in my opinion, so may well gain a bit more time. Yeah, did indeed. Nearly 6 attempts from Lycorius up to P6. That's a fine lap from Lycorius. Well done. This is round. Attempts up. Stadium section is a bit. Everything about this section should be easy, but it's just not. It's low on traction through it. It's difficult exiting all the corners. It's a horrible section, actually, to be honest. Really good improvement from Lismore. Like just over half a second, puts him up to P12. Whoopi early on in his lap, so let's just move elsewhere. Giving there on an ever so slight improvement, but it would be good enough to move him up to P2. And he does just that. Just over half a tenth, takes him 4/1000ths of a second ahead of Hunter into P2. It looks to me, yeah, Hunter's backed out of his lap, so he's not going to improve. Cast my mind back to last week, I'm pretty sure that... it's Chardinho nips into P2 on a 16.5. That was mighty close to Pete on that one. Good lap, Chardinho. Very nice indeed. And, trying to find someone who might be improving. Just double check. No, not improving. Amazingly, Lycorius was up in Sector 1. Hasn't got much battery, so it's going to be hard for him to sustain an improvement. That's going to take him out wide. I'd suggest it's probably going to be down. Yeah, just nearly 4 attempts. Just nip down to Whoopi. Did get a lap on the board. He's actually got an identical lap time to X11. He was in P11, funny enough. Did that deliberately, didn't you, X11? If you called X11, you got to qualify P11. It's just anything else would be wrong. So the other driver to look at on this lap would be Hunter. I think he's actually behind us on track. Just a little dot in the background there. Whoopi 4 attempts up. He's going to ruin X11's qualifying in P11. X11 qualifying in P12 don't have quite the same ring to it. So I'm going to move him up to about P8-ish. Goes P6 actually. Hunter across the line. Oh! Missed out on his PB by 1/1000th of a second. Unlucky, Mr. Hunter. And that is the end of qualifying. So well done to Pete, who was really dominant in qualifying last week, if my memory serves me right. Although then the race was a completely different story. But Chardinho there getting very, very close to Pete. Just half attempt separating them. So, very good from the pair of them. So they will start first and second, and then from there, advantage to Gunnar in terms of championship as he starts P3, but he does often out-qualify his teammate who's fighting for the championship. Hunter, brilliant P4 from Hunter, only 4 thousandths off of the Gunnar. Volungus in P5, Whoopi P6, Chipvan P7, Lycorius P8. Just to shout, by the way, once you take away the front two, look how tight this is. 3 temps covers the next from 3rd to 7th. And it's still really close. Lycorius, brilliant P8s. Junkie Emperor, P9. He had fired up through the order through the race. Don't you worry about that. Chris, P10. Fatal, P11. X11 in 12. See, look, that's Whoopi's fault. It was X11 in 11. So Whoopi spoiled it and moved up. So, right, I'm really glad to say, actually, that HRF1 do take a little break, guys. So, as I've just done 100% raced, and the kids' races before that, I'm just going to take that opportunity, and I'll be back with you shortly for the race. Right, guys, let me just double check I'm in a... Yeah, it's still in a party, that's good. Let's just keep an eye on it. It does kick you out of a party every... I'm not sure how long it leaves you in there, actually, but it does, after a little while, it does kick you out of a party automatically. Right, in a way. Let's have a quick look then at standings. So, I can only assume that this has been updated recently, so if this is correct, and I believe it is because they were posted today, so they should be. Anyway, the Gunnar leads the championship on 4.58. His teammate Junkie Emperor is in P2 on 4.22, so 36 points separating them. But remember, it's 40 points for a win in HRF1, so it's actually a really close gap, that. Then Chris is in P3, back on 3.03, and Hunter is after him at the moment. Hunter's on 2.68, while Whoopi is catching and is on 2.64. Pete, our pole position sitter, on 2.34. Then a multitude of other drivers. Let's take a quick look at the constructors then. As you can probably tell by the driver standings, the Ferraris are walking, well, they've won the constructors title, actually, looking at it. So, congratulations to them on constructors, but the battle for second, just 1 point separating Williams and Red Bull. While Mercedes are in P4 on 3.81, Alfa Romeo P5 on 379, so that's really tight as well. And with a good die, if those two teams, they can actually find themselves pretty close to the teams ahead for P2 and P3, so we'll see how that goes. But ultimately, we're going to be looking at the two Ferrari drivers for the driver's title. It's right then, here we go. So, formation lap up first, of course. What can I tell you about Mexico? High altitude circuit can mean quite a drain on fuel. Can also do all sorts of tyre wear. Now, let's take a quick look at the tyres first. So, you've got Pete starting on hard tyres, Chaldino and Daguna on mediums, Hunter is on softs. Then we got a P5 down to P8, all on mediums, while Junkie starts on hard. So he's going the opposite tyre to his teammate. It's interesting. Chris on mediums, Fatal on mediums. Then everybody else from P12 down to P16 are all starting on the hard tyres, which personally, if I was near the back of the grid, I would definitely be starting on the hards too. But okay, what I can tell you, Hunter's not made a bad shout here. I like what he's done, starting on the softs. He tends to start on the softs every week, actually, does Hunter, but so it's not unusual to see him doing that. But it works here. You can two-stop here without really losing any time to one-stoppers, but you can one-stop soft to medium around here. And I know you're all going to be shouting at me, don't be ridiculous and all that sort of thing, calling me all the names under the sun, but I promise you, you can. And the reason I know you can is because I did it. To earn myself a podium in a race. So I do know that that is a possibility. Now, I'm not for a second suggesting it's the fastest way around the race, okay? So don't think that's what I'm doing. I'm not. I also don't for a second think we will get through this race without a safety car. I hope we do, but I don't think we will. Purely, really, because of Sector 2. The rest of the track's not too bad, but Sector 2 tends to claim a few casualties, particularly when you've got 16 on the grid. So that's not the worst camera any angle, that's a good camera angle. There we go. I'm actually on with Chip Van in 7th here for this one. So it'll do as the lights come on. And out they go. And it looks like Pete just bogged down a little bit, I think. Let's just come down. He has bogged down. He's dropped the P3. Chardino takes the lead. Laguna up to second. Valungus P4. Whoopi's actually moved up to P3. Brilliant start from Whoopi. In a Merc, a little bit of contact there between Valungus and Pete, but I don't think there's any damage caused. That is the problem. We're starting on hard tyres at Mexico. It's such a long run down to the first corner. He's dropped from pole position down to P6. Whoopi up to P3 then. And all sorts going on. Let's go to the camera. We've got Hunter holding off Valungus at the moment. He needs to get those tyres going. He's got the tyre advantage. He knows this. He's got to trust himself, and he's got to be attacking the cars ahead here. So, Chris, a bit further down, Chris gets ahead of Junkie Emperor. So does Ronaldo, actually. I'm just going to nip down to Junkie. Is he at a moment or something? Seems to be okay. I think it's just a case he started on the hards. Well, no, all those around him have as well, so not entirely sure. He's actually completely cut the corner there, but and I think that was the bollard just going flying across the screen. Yeah, definitely nothing's come off the Ferrari there, so check McLaren as well. But no, I don't think anything's come off any of the cars. I think that was a bollard that's gone flying across the screen. So, back to the front guys then. Whoopi currently up into P3. had a really good start. Chaldino's pulled out a nice lead at the front, 1.5 seconds over the Cooner. He finds himself up a place. Let's go to the position change, actually. So, yeah, as you can see, Whoopi up 3. The 2 ahead of him both gained a place. Obviously, Pete dropped down. He's down 6 overall, Pete, but doesn't mean a great deal to him. It ultimately, yes, he's not going to be happy being in P7 after starting pole position, but ultimately, he also knows that his is a different strategy to everybody else's. So, you know, don't panic. He'll gradually make positions back up as we go. So these guys very tight. I did just say a bit earlier on that Hunter was just struggling at the start, but he has definitely got it all together now. And someone dropping down, I think it's Chip Van. Yeah, he's just come back. Oh, he's into the pits. He's hit the bollard as well. So into the pits goes Chip Van. Picks up a 5-second penalty for his trouble as well. So Lycorius into the pits as well, and like I said, I really wouldn't expect this race to go without a safety car, so it wouldn't be the weirdest thing in the world if it did mind. It's not like it's not one of the races where you'd say 100% there's going to be a safety car, so it's not like Baku or something, you know. But I'd say it's a medium to high race around here. Higher end of medium, if you see what I mean. It's Fatal then up into P8 ahead of Chris and consolidates that nicely. Shenki Emperor looking to make his way back up a little bit. He's in P11 now, and after oh no, Fatal! Oh, I've cursed him. I've totally cursed him. Up into P8 ahead of Chris and consolidated that one. Bang. Oh, I'm sorry, Fatal. Commentator cursed you. Now is a full safety car. Your Hunts restarted on soft. It's so difficult when this happens. This is why I don't like starting on softs, because ultimately he has to pit here. He's done 3 laps of soft, that's nothing, but ultimately he has to pit. He can't really stay out on those softs. So all that's happened really, because he's not gained any advantage over the other drivers by doing 3 laps on them. So ultimately he's just effectively he's just throwing away his brilliant qualifying to drop to the back by pitting now, assuming he does, but he could stay out. He doesn't absolutely have to pit. So, just a reminder to viewers out there, if you're watching, I don't. My phone charger broke earlier on today, so I've ordered one for next day delivery to get tomorrow. But it means I can't reply to any comments on the stream, so I do apologise if you're making any comments. But please do talk amongst yourselves, and I will. Back to normal when I stream next on Tuesday night. I'll have my charger tomorrow, so I'll be back to normal on Tuesday. So we're coming around to the pit lane now, so we're going to ultimately see what Hunter does. He stays out, and quite honestly, in hindsight now, I think he's done the right thing. I don't think pitting there would have been particularly good idea, as Valungus and X11 seem to swap positions there. Never quite understood that. Around a safety car, why are you even close enough to the driver ahead that you can potentially swap positions with them? Literally no need for it. I don't get it. I've never got that. I'll be honest with you, I've never understood that. You're not allowed to drive alongside the car anymore ahead of you at all. So, there's no excuse really. Fatal. Lose a session. Yeah, Fatal, if you're out there in Streamland, I apologise. Totally commentator cursed you on that one, so my apologies. What am I apologising for? Commentator's curse does not exist. It's just it's an urban myth. I'm telling you, it's an urban myth. Not my fault. uh... So, safety car remains out. It's a bit of a shame, but everybody is pretty much caught up. Well, in fact, now everybody is caught up. There's Lycorius on the back. And I'm absolutely sure if anybody was around on the stream when I said about a soft to medium strategy around here, I know full well everybody that's listened to that I think, but I'm telling you, you can do it. As X11 have longest swap positions again. Look, now it's... Oh, no, it's not. Okay. I thought the game was then telling X11 to... Well, the longest to give up the place, but it hasn't on that occasion. So, good view here on board with Whoopi. We're getting going again, and I'm ready to go. Jardinho. Right, that's his move. He can't move again. So... Very hard to turn around and say that that was the second move then, to be honest, but... sort of drifted across the circle. I think Whoopi's caught the back of him there as he's sort of not come out the turn 3 very well. I don't think it caused any damage to Whoopi, so I think we've got away with that one. So anyway, the Gooner has taken the lead. Whoopi P2, Chaldinho down to 3. That's just the nature of the Mexico straight. Just going to nip down to Jim the Best. He's having a little fight with Lycorius by the looks of it. Well, I think it might have sorted itself out. So let's just go up slightly to Crisp, who's having a look at Lismore. Oh, don't force the gap, you're not alongside. You can't. Got to be actually alongside to be entitled to room, otherwise the driver is more than entitled to close the door on you. Can't try and outbrake him if you're not alongside and then say, well, he closed the door on me. Well, he's entitled to because you weren't alongside. That, my friend, is called a dive bomb. So, sector 3, yellow flag. I think that was Chris, who seems to have fallen off at the back of the grid. I don't know whether maybe he pitted on the safety car in lap or not, but Right, everything really tight at the moment, so it's a bit difficult, to be honest, to know who to go on board with. If answer was to do the one-stop soft to medium, by the way, you'd be looking pitting around lap 12-ish. Probably either side of that would be okay as well. And it's a lot of laps then to do on mediums, but they will do it. I promise you. DRS is enabled. They won't have it down straight. They will have it in the third DRS zone after where sector 2 ends. So I'm just going to nip down. Actually, there's another battle going on. So Chip Fan, I think, just got ahead of Jim the Best for P13. Absolute junkie trying to make his way through the field. Ultimately, everybody's still on their original strategies. Chris, so Crisp and Lycorius pitted. Well, actually, everybody from P11 down is pitted, except for Chris at the very back. So, his obviously wasn't a pit stop, his must have been a spin that drops into the back. Mighty close here. And Junkie will want to get this done as soon as possible, and it looks like he's going to get round the outside there, and I think he'll get DRS. I think the activation was before that. So I think... Yeah, there you go. And poor old Ronaldo here is going to be... Right, he's lost 2 more positions, so in the space of a couple of corners he's lost 4 positions. Got a pretty good view of that, actually. That was a nice little overtake. Ultimately, not a lot he could do about it, to be honest with you. But I was trying to say that Junkie needed to get that done quickly, because they were dropping quite a bit back from the group ahead, 4 seconds at the moment, and that's not what Junkie needs. So he now needs to see if he can eat into Vlungus a little bit. He was 4 seconds at the road, it's 3.9 basically now, so signs that Junkie might be able to just eat into that lead slightly. Oh, and we've got another retirement. Jim is out. Jim the Best. And he's around here somewhere. There he is, on the right hand side there. I don't know if you can see that come up on your screen, but I got removed from my party then, which, if I get removed from the party, look, if I'm not in the party, all the drivers can hear me, and I don't want that, so I don't want to be putting people off. People shouting at me because I put them off. So lots of pit stops going on, in a way. Some of this will be, soft and medium starters going to hards to go to the end. Some of it might be hard starters thinking I need to change strategies here and nipping onto a new tyre. Yeah, I mean, ultimately it is a long stint for the hards to do, but like I said, the mediums will go an awfully long way around here, so the hards will get to the end from here. There's no buts about that. They will. But someone like Whoopi that's gone on to fresh mediums, just say it. Don't rule him out. Don't think, you have to pit again from here, because I actually don't think he will. He's got a good couple of laps under safety car, and I think he'll be in the realm of being able to stay out till the end. Now, of course, at the end of a stint, he's going to be slow. There's no, you can't sort of get away from that. He is going to they are going to get very worn, those medium tyres, so towards the end of the stint it will get slow. But like I said, they can do it, and of course there's always the possibility of another safety car. So 2 drivers lost, 2 safety cars. It's not, but they've both gone in sector 2 as well, which is what I said pre-race, wasn't it? Sector 2 is the problem around here. That's why I pretty much can guarantee a safety car around here. Not an absolute 100%, but it's a very high chance of a safety car around here, and it's purely because of sector 2. You see the odd crash in sector 3 as well, to be fair. Particularly people coming out the final corner. I've seen quite a few go into the pit wall at the final corner, actually. One of my absolute favourite moments was commentating on a league I used to sort of co-run, called Apex Racing League, and doesn't exist anymore, but a mate of mine, Sierra, was racing around here, and he spun out the final corner and actually spun straight into the pit lane and ended up doing a pit stop. just one of the funniest things I've ever seen, I think. Didn't get any damage or anything like that. Didn't collect any damage. Literally spun directly into the pits and hit the pit line and did a pit stop. It was quite hilarious. I wonder if he's still got a clip of that. He did get a clip of it. I wonder if he might still have a clip of that. I'll have to see if I can get it and share it in the Discord. It was really quite funny. So it's just there we go on this lap, and off Chaldinho goes. He's got gets the lead. Yeah, you've got to be a bit careful your weaving, Chaldinho. It's a bit extreme. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not even close to being the worst I've seen. Not even close to it, but you've got to be careful in what you do. You're allowed to make one move, one defensive move, so you can move and defend the inside, or you can move to defend the outside of a corner. If, when you reach the braking zone, the driver behind is not alongside you, you can retake the racing line. So you can't just move right and left. So, right, as I said, I'm not going to dwell on it because, as I said, it's not even close to being the worst I've seen. Not even close to it. So actually, I hadn't noticed until now. So this is, I just assumed this was the Gunner, but it's not. This is Junkie Emperor in P3. So that's a huge thing for this race and potentially a championship. As Whoopi nips past him now for P3. So that's what I mean. Whoopi is going to be dangerous from here. I really do think if he realises that he can potentially take these mediums all the way to the end of the race, for me, he's favourite to win from here. If there's no more safety cars, and then if there is, we'll have to reassess again, I guess. But so Gunnar and X11 there, switching positions up into turn 1. So Gunnar's obviously in a great place as well, by the way. Pete drops a couple. Oh no, he didn't actually. I think he actually gained 1, but then lost it again. Somehow Crisp has ended up in P4. Quite sure how that happened, but I guess it's through the pit stops for the safety car. He's mighty close at the moment, as you can see. Can't pick one particular battle. Just got to hope that the camera gives us a good angle. Oh, X11 very nearly outbreaks himself into the back of Pete there. managed to avoid it. He's just going to leave himself a bit vulnerable, I think, to the Ferrari of the Gunnar. Oh, I think what's happened there? I think Hunter and the Gunnar ended up making contact there. I'm not sure exactly how. Gunnar just nipped out of the picture when that happened, so but a free of breath for the moment, and looks like Hunter's going to get the best of that, and just a fights to keep hold of P8, and this is testament to the fact, by the way, that a lot of these guys are on mediums and they have a severe tyre advantage over the Gunnar at the moment. There will be a point later in the race where the Gunnar will have a big tyre advantage over them. So don't rule the Gunnar out of anything yet. He's very much in this race. Whoopi, though, from me, currently, as far as I'm concerned, the favourite to win this race. But see, ultimately, he doesn't particularly need to get past Cialdino because Cialdino will pit, but he would love, with his nice fresh medium tyres that he's got on, he'd love a nice clear track ahead of him that he can drive into. So much easier when you've got a clear track. And ultimately, as I said, Whoopi may not know it, but he's experienced enough, Whoopi, and if he's done the races around here that I have, then I'm actually thinking, I think the race that I did the soft medium in, me and a guy called Gaza did it in the same race, and now I think about it, Whoopi could well have been in that race, so he may well actually know that the mediums can potentially go to the end. So, as I said, there's every chance we'll have another safety car before then. Anyway, Whoopi does get into the lead ahead of Cialdino. Obviously, Cialdino is reaching the point of a pit stop now. So, your general strategy here would have, at the start of the game, would have been 10 year, probably 16 laps on mediums, 20 on hards. That would have been what the game was saying. And you could vary that to 15 on mediums or 17 on mediums, but you might have even been able to do it the other way around, 20 on mediums, 16 on hards, but it probably wouldn't have made a huge amount of difference to your predicted race time, but so if you see what Buffy did there, he moved to the inside coming out of the final corner to break the toe and moved back to the racing line once he was confident that the car behind was not going to be able to make an overtaking manoeuvre on this lap. That's absolutely perfect way of being able to show somebody how to do it. That would be really good. Sort of, case study, if you like. So, X11 here, really close to the back of pit. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. Well, I didn't see anybody particularly lose any positions. I was looking down at the track and I couldn't see a yellow flag on the track map, so I have no idea who it was. But whoever it is, they must be going again in a way. Now we got a sector 3 yellow. And that's Cialdino. Oh, he's done it right by the pit lane. So that's the only good thing actually for him, is that he's done it right by the pit lane. So at least he can get straight into the pits and make his, what was probably a scheduled pit stop. In a way, he was very likely that he'd have been coming in there. Well, I'm gobsmacked. In what world was going to soft tyres a good idea there? He's just thrown away any chance of getting a good result in this race, in my opinion, unless a safety car saves him. Chip-Van chasing him up there, but he's not going to catch him. But yeah, Well, yeah. Well, answers on a postcard for me on that one. I don't get that strategy at all. And we are then reaching the point where anybody who stayed out on the tyres that they started this race on, the only ones still out there that are on the tyres they started the race on are Junkie Emperor, Pete, and Ronaldo. We're reaching the point where, okay, alright, I now know why Chaldino pitted to softs. Right, you guys in chat may have known this, but we are expecting rain because I just saw it. I just saw rain, so that's why Chaldino went to the soft tyres then. That makes much more sense now, and I apologise to you, Chaldino. I didn't know that we were going to have rain. So, to be honest, the sky on the game here looks really quite nice. It doesn't look like it's about to rain, but I definitely saw rain. Which, for me, if I was Whoopi, I'd be thinking, well, to be honest, I guess it doesn't matter because he's creating a gap as long as he's just going to keep creating that gap. Well, anybody's still on their starting tyre, don't pit. If we're going to intermediates, just stay out. And yeah, I could definitely see the rain there. So it's clearly raining now, guys. This isn't going to take long. Once you really start being able to see it, it doesn't take long normally. I think a couple of laps. So yeah, nobody who's still on their starting tyre will be pitting now. This is awesome for Junkie Emperor. Actually got the jump on Daguna during the safety car when Daguna opted to pit, but he'd be doing a little rain dance inside the cockpit now with Junkie because this would be an advantage to him big time. And he needs it as well because, quite frankly, Daguna, if it stays dry, Daguna goes to the end and would be a long way ahead of Junkie Emperor. So there he is. You just see him there in the background. So they're really close on track. So in terms of championship, this rain is going to play a big part potentially. See if we can get a better view of it. Going on to cockpit. I promise you it's there. I know it can be really difficult to see sometimes, but I promise you it's there. Well, in that case, of course, Woofy switching to medium tyres was just an absolute obvious. Quite frankly, I don't really understand why nobody else did it. Sorry, my bad. Others did do it, actually. X11 did, Hunter did, Lismore did. So, yeah, I take that back, actually. It's, just managed to do a better job, and I'm 100% sure you must be able to see the rain now, as there is a spinner. And that is Ronaldo. Just had a little spin. Set to 2. And still doesn't look like the... Yeah, I don't think it's ready still for Inters. I think this could be a difficult call for the leaders as they come round. There may be somebody in this next group that might be saying to themselves, if Whoopi pits, I pit. If he doesn't pit, I pit in a way. So... it doesn't look wet enough. Just looking at the track, we'll soon find out. No, Whoopi agrees it's not wet enough. I don't think anybody's going to pit here, to be honest. It looks way too dry at the moment. But I promise you, that can change so quickly. Oh, I think Pete's into the pits. Oh, so somebody is pitting. Pete's pitting. Good luck to you, Pete. Good luck to you. There'll be green walled intermediate tyres. If he gets this absolutely spot on, he could gain loads here, but the truth is, it doesn't look wet enough to me. But again, as I said, it can change so quickly. It may not be wet enough here, but if he gets halfway around the lap and it becomes wet enough, it can happen that fast. So, not write him off, but we've got a set to 3. That's Ronaldo. Not having the most fun time out there. Anybody who's not sure who Ronaldo is that follows HRF1, that's Lee Man City. Changed his name. I don't know why, but he changed his name to Ronaldo. So I'm a Newcastle fan. I don't worry about what's going on with the minnow teams like Man City and Man U anymore. So into the pits comes Junkie Emperor. X11 decides very last second that he's going to follow him. Luckily, nobody behind was pitting as well, so you get away with that X11. If you'd have cut in front of somebody that also opted to pit, that took the correct line, then he'd be in trouble. But, well, it's still a big call in my eyes. It's really getting wetter, but I think ultimately Whoopi has the gap that he can wait. Maybe not wait that much though, Whoopi. Well, yeah, no. Oh, right, no. It's just why is there full? Why is there a safety car out? Oh, Ronaldo's retired. I don't know where he's done that, but we got a full safety car. That explains why Whoopi slowed right down then. I wondered what he was doing. So, well, I mean, there's no guesses what anybody's doing now. All these guys that are going to be able to put under safety cars just made up some time, so the only thing for Junkie Emperor is that he gets ahead of the Gooner. He'd be fuming if he doesn't get ahead of the Gooner here. Surely, yeah, he will. He will get ahead of the Gooner. It's not even a possibility that he won't, to be honest. So, Whoopi's made his stop. Into the box is the Gooner. I'll tell you what, Junkie is taking forever. He's not going to get past. When I say he's taking forever, he's got to abide by the speed. Oh, he does get past. He's alright. He's got to abide to the delta, so I'm not saying for a second he was like being bad or anything, you know, like that's what Lismore's doing, and well, I don't know. It's did somebody stick a little umbrella on top of his helmet and he hadn't realised it's raining yet? He ain't got no drips coming down his visor. Maybe Lismore's gambling on the idea that it's never actually going to be truly wet enough. That it might go back towards dry. Maybe again, I don't know. I don't know anything about the weather predictions in this race, so maybe it was scheduled as going wet to dry again. And if it does do that, this would be the greatest call of all time by Lismore. And he'll win my driver of the day for the month. He's now picked up a drive-through penalty for falling too far back. Oh, sorry. I'm not... Yeah. Sorry, I'm just laughing because I said he'd get my driver of the day for a month and then picked up a drive-through for falling too... I've never seen anybody get a drive-through for falling too far back under safety car. Into the pits he comes. Little glance on the wall because he's probably feeling a bit annoyed there. Go. On to intermediates now. So Whoopi leads Crisp in P2. Where does that come from? Junkie Emperor P3, right where he needs to be, ahead of Dagooner. X11 is in P4, Hunter's in P5, so he's got a nice little sort of buffer there as Junkie, with X11 and Hunter behind him, or between him and Dagooner. Pete's in P7 also. He'd love to put some pressure on Dagooner. If Pete will rue starting on those hard tyres in the end. Just doesn't seem to have worked out. If you remember, he actually, the 7th is where he dropped down to from pole by starting on hards, and people just getting with this long straight. It's difficult. This is difficult, particularly now that we know that rain was coming now, because he was probably thinking that everybody was going to go hards to try and stay out and make it till the rain. So, safety car in this lap, we will get racing again. So, Whoopi will lead us away from Crisp, from Junkie Emperor. Chaldino, after all of that, has come out in P11. Ultimately, that's going to be lent to whatever happens to him before he entered the pits. So, yeah, Whoopi waited there really. So there was a proper bit of straight for him to speed up on. He's done it well. Junkie Emperor, unfortunately, I think looks to me like he's run a bit of a higher front wing than the others, particularly the X11, who got a superb launch down that straight. And look at this now, the two Ferraris are next to each other. Dagooner's gotten ahead of Hunter. The two title contenders are next to each other on track. Remember, the Constructors' Championship is sewn up. There is no need for them to worry about that at all. It's completely sewn up, so this is full-on battling now to the end of this race. Ultimately, P4 is worth 25 points, P5 is worth 22, so ultimately, I mean, it's not as if it'd be the end of the world for Dagooner to lose 3 points in this race, but I'd rather add 3 points. Will the weather play any further part? Will it get worse? Will it clear up? Doesn't look to me like it's going to clear up. It's still raining about the same, I'd say, so don't think it's going to clear up. It's just more about whether it gets better. It's Junkie. Again, he'd love to stick a car between him and Dagooner. Worth an extra 4 points this position. Both Ferraris got penalties. Last time I looked up, they were both penalty free, so we'll take a look at those a bit closer to the end of the race. I don't want to spoil anything right now, but obviously with P2 to P6 all on the penalty, the win for Whoopi is looking all but assured, really. As long as he keeps it going in the right direction, should be fine. And, Lungus picks up a 3 second. Take a look, and we could be in a little bit of a stalemate here. This is the problem with the rain, and it's like this at all tracks really. Because it disables the RS, it kind of ruins it a little bit, because all they've got now to work under is the toe, which is very strong down in Mexico, but as you can see, it's not strong enough, and we can kind of just end up in this procession where the only way there's going to be an overtake is when somebody makes a mistake. As Lycorius fights with, I believe, Chaldinho, who's trying to recover, I guess, after such a promising qualifying and beginning of this race. Just that spin, isn't it? It's gonna... I mean, ultimately, I don't know exactly what happened with that spin, but whatever it was, that's what's cost him. Oh! Who was that? Is that Lycorius? It is. Lycorius has spun it, coming out double right-hander. And I don't know if Chip Van actually got caught in that slightly. Yes, he did. He's lost his end plate. His right end plate, I think it is. So yeah, Chip Van got caught up in that somehow. And, well, it's gifted 2 places to Chaldinho, who's now back inside the top 10. Obviously, points-wise, anybody finishing the race in HRF1 will score points. But still, obviously, it's nice to be in the top 10. And then, if Chaldinho can get onto the car ahead of him, as Junkie Emperor is making a move on Crisp. This is important. So, Crisp didn't look too bothered about defending that too hard, if I'm honest with you. Perhaps he's aware that the two Ferraris are fighting here. And don't want to see him getting out of the way, though. Not here. I don't want him to just say, well, I don't want to get in the way of a championship battle. And certainly, John Daguna needs to earn this place, not just be given it. So, look at the train behind. That's what I mean. If Chaldinho can catch the car ahead of him, he actually gets onto the end of this train, and that's how many drivers this is. P3, Junkie Emperor, all the way down to P9 at the moment, and Chaldinho's catching them to make it all the way to P10. Zunter picks up a penalty. Picks up a penalty. So, I mean, actually, Crisp has the advantage ERS-wise. Daguna's really low on energy. Crisp's got over 50%. Yeah, if you're running out of energy on the straight, you're not gonna overtake anybody. I think, well, actually, I'm not too sure what Daguna can do there other than try and charge it over the next few laps. But if you don't have any to use on the straight, or you don't use any on the straight, you're likely to leave yourself open to the cars behind. This Chip Van has to pit, and Lismore is promoted up to P12. And Chaldinho, as you can see, has caught the back of this train that's going up. Look at it right there, and you can... Oh, that didn't give me as good an angle as I'd hoped it was going to, but it's fantastic, isn't it? The Great Leveler, they call it, didn't they? Well, that's what they used to call it. Oh, Daguna! Well, Daguna's had a moment, and that moment has dropped him down to P8. And as Chaldinho retires, and that's going to be a safety car. Chaldinho, it's Sector 2 again, look. Oh, unlucky Chaldinho. Had a really good qualifying, had a really good start to this race. Just that spin just before the pit stop has just ruined his race a bit. He's ended up chasing, if you see what I mean. When you've been high up and something happens, you drop down the order, you start chasing the result, and for me, that's probably what Chaldinho's done there. Trying to get back up the order. He's trying to drive faster maybe than the car particularly wants to go. And that's probably resulted in a DNF. But never mind. The safety car will come out and it will do its laps. It will come back in. So Whoopi leads. Absolute dead cert to win this race as long as he keeps it on track. X11 in P2, which considering he started 12th, it's pretty good. Junkie Emperor P3, Chris P4, Hunter in 5. And because of whatever that little moment that the Gooner had was, he's dropped down to P8. What makes it even worse is the two drivers ahead of him are both penalty free, so even if he was to be able to make overtakes after the restart, he won't actually gain any places because he's got penalties. So I think maybe now's a good time to look at those penalties. So here we go then. So, well, 3 seconds for 11, 3 seconds for Junkie Emperor, 3 seconds for Crisp, 6 seconds for Hunter. Things look good for Chris and Pete as long as they keep themselves penalty free, don't they? Daguna's got 3, Falungus has got, well, everybody else has got 3. He's got penalties, so go. At the moment, only 3 drivers keeping it penalty free tonight, and that's Pete, Chris, and Whoopi. Whoopi leading this race up 5 places, X11 up 10, Junkie Emperor up 6, Crisp up 10, Chris up 4, Lismore up 3, and the guys remaining in the race that gain places thus far. So I've said in many of my streams before, when I choose my driver today, I set a big emphasis on penalty-free races, so it's so important in my eyes, and big emphasis on that. So really, I think right now, right this second, Whoopi probably is heading towards driver of the day as well as the race win. Although Chris has also done a superb job in that sense, but there's no doubt that Crisp and X11 have got to be in with a shout, even though they have got penalties in my eyes. So and they've kept it to 3 seconds. It's not as if they're going to get pit up 9 or something like that, but let's just see, because Crisp absolutely is in with a shout, in my opinion. X11 too, but the thing is, I regard X11 as one of the faster drivers in the league, so he's driving now, which I don't expect him to be driving. He qualified a lot lower, so I'm not too sure why that is, but so Whoopi waiting. You can't blame him. You don't particularly want to start halfway round that final corner. So there was a moment there where Hunter got ahead of Chris, but he's dropped back down, and Chris gets ahead of Hunter. Oh, and Junkie's an absolute sitting duck. How's he lost all those places? What happened? Well, he's dropped to P6 from P3. I really don't know what happened there. I honestly don't know what's happening. He seems incredibly slow on the straights. He hasn't been like that all race. Well, we'll work out at the end what happens points wise. As Junkie Emperor makes up 2 places, he's back up to 4th. Brilliant move. As Crisp drops down, one of the guys I said was certainly in with a shout of driver today. He's dropped down now to P8. Oh, there's all sorts of position changes going on. This is hectic as anything. Chris gets back ahead of Daguner. Daguner coming out the final corner is surely going to get a run back at him. The Red Bull with Chip Van could get a run because he's getting a tow. Daguner wants that position. He's on the inside. He's going to look to brake later. He makes the corner. And up into P7 he goes. And amongst all that, Look, Chris is up into P3 from nowhere. Well, he's now in with a shout for driver of the day without even a shadow of a doubt. I think ultimately, if you watch this race back, I think the way that Whoopi has gone about this race would be almost criminal if I didn't give him driver of the day, as long as it all stays as it is. But let's just see what happens. There's still 2.5 laps remaining. Pete now up into P6. Crisp picks up a penalty. He's just got 6 seconds now. So important not to pick him up. It really is. Got a sector 2 yellow. I'm looking at that. That was Valungus who's dropped down at the back. It's like Corius might be getting a little run on Chip Van here. Nice amount of room left by both drivers. Complete respect shown. And good racing. Is he going to get another chance down into turn 4 maybe? I don't think so. So, looks like Chip Van's at least going to hold on to that until we get round again. That's why you can, particularly in these conditions, if you absolutely drain your energy, you leave yourself so vulnerable down the straight. It's got to keep a bit back. And look, Chip Van's done that. He's got 30%. Look, Chris driving around with 80%. I don't know why he wants that much. At the same time that you want to save a bit, Chris, do you want to use it? Final lap, just turn it on. Just put on hot lap for the last lap. He still remains penalty free. He's certainly going to gain 1 place. I think he might gain 2, but it's going to be tight actually at the end. But we'll see. But ultimately, yeah, because Chris has picked up a penalty that takes him out of the driver of the day scenario, and I think it basically guarantees Wolfie driver of the day now as well in my eyes, as well as the victory. This isn't a race where this has just come to Whoopi. This hasn't just happened by accident. He's dominated this race. He's made the right calls at the right time, strategy-wise. He's taken the overtakes when they've been available to him. And once he's got out in front, he's dominated and just created gaps. You know, as the fireworks start going off as he comes into the stadium. The last time, added a final corner, and as long as he doesn't spin it into the pit lane like your mate did, he will win a Mexican Grand Prix in HRF1. X11 comes in a brilliant P2, and a great shout out to him. Chris as well, P3. Great race. Pete in the end does get promoted to 4th. Junkie is at the 5th, down to 5th. The Gooner ends up in 6th. They've ended up 5th and 6th somehow. Hunter P7, Chip Van in P8, Slycorius 9, Lismore 10, Crispin 11, and Valungus will indeed finish the race. P12 picking up. Just trying to think. Is it 9 points, I think, for P12? It's 8 or 9 in a way. It's well done to all the guys that have finished, but the game gives X11 driver the day because he's made up the most places. But ultimately, I base my driver on the day on a lot more than that, and without a shadow, to be quite honest, it would be absolutely criminal if I didn't give driver the day to our winner today. Absolutely superb race. That's how you win a race, even if you aren't starting at the front. So, brilliant display from Whoopi, and he definitely takes my drive of the day as well. Big shout outs to the other podium sitters as well. In terms of championship, then Daguna does drop a minimal amount of points to Junkie. So Junkie finishing P5 will get 22 points. Was it 40, 32, 28, 25? Yeah, you get 22 points. Daguna will get 20. Fastest lap of the race, by the way, was Charles Dino, but he DNF'd, so nobody will get the fastest lap point, as far as I'm aware. It's just a 2-point difference, but it does go Junkie Emperor's direction. This championship very, very much alive. Just quickly go to the bottom, and then race director, scroll through the instance just in case the guys need them. There we go, quite a lot, but the vast majority of that is 3 seconds, or cutting corners, that sort of thing. It's not really much more than that, but really good race. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. Lots and lots of penalties, corner cut in, that's really affected the result in the end, but ultimately the championship very much stays alive going into the last couple of races, and Junkie Emperor has done the job today. He's gained points on Daguna, but he would have liked more. He had the chance for more, but the penalties let him down, and so he only gains the 2 points, but he's very much in this championship. Okay, guys, well, look, I've been streaming since 5 o'clock. I've had enough. I'm not going to lie. Thank you ever so much to anybody that's watched me throughout the day, quite honestly. Thanks also to anybody that watches the stream back live, stream back at a later point. I really appreciate it. Thanks to people that are putting subs and etc. And also a shout out to Mr. Whale for your nice comments earlier as well. Yeah, but thanks, guys. It's nice to be back, and ultimately I only took one day off, so